My name is Brianne Berkus. I want to welcome everyone to my grade 3 piano performance exam. I hope you enjoy all the songs I will be playing for you today. The first song I'll be playing for you today is Ecossaise by Ludwig van Beethoven. Mr. Beethoven was born on December 16, 1770 in Bonn, Germany. He was a composer and pianist and is one of the most famous and admired composers of the classical period. He wrote over 720 pieces, including 9 symphonies. The last movement in his 9th symphony is called Ode to Joy, and it was made the national anthem of the European Union. Mr. Beethoven was completely deaf by the age of 46, but he kept composing until he died by the age of 56. The classical period of music was from 1730 to 1820 and is known for music that is light and elegant. An ecossaise is a lively country dance where couples form facing each other. My second song is In the Spirit by Christopher Norton. Mr. Norton was born in New Zealand on June 22, 1953. He moved to Britain in 1977 to study music on a New Zealand government scholarship. He now lives in Stratford, Ontario. Mr. Norton started composing music at the age of 14. By the time he was 16, he had his orchestral work performed and broadcasted. He wrote the Micro Jazz series to help young students to play blues and jazz music. Out of all my pieces today, this is my favorite because I love the sound of jazz music. My next song is Huron Carol, arranged by Beverly Porter. Mrs. Porter was born in 1930 in Calgary, Alberta, but she grew up in Vancouver, British Columbia. She began teaching piano when she was in her teens, her first students being younger relatives. Mrs. Porter is a graduate of Queen's University School of Music in Kingston, Ontario. She still lives in Kingston and teaches piano and composes new music. Huron Carol is also called "'Twas in the Moon of Wintertime." It is a Canadian Christmas hymn that was written for the Huron people by the French missionary in the 1600s. My fourth song is Allegro in A major by Johann Wilhelm Hassler. Mr. Hassler was born on March 29 in 1747 in Erfurt, Germany. He was a composer, organist, and pianist. When his father died in 1769, Mr. Hassler took over the family for a business, but still managed to tour Germany and the rest of Europe. He met other composers on these tours and even played in an organ contest against Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, but he didn't win. He moved to Moscow, where he worked as a music teacher and composer until he died in 1822. Allegro means at a brisk, lively tempo. Schoenberg. Mr. Schoenberg was born in 1987 in Oakville, Ontario. He's a freelance pianist, vocalist, educator, and music producer, and his pieces have been on the radio and television across North America. Mr. Schoenberg toured with the Christian music group God Rocks and Carried Away. A blues song is usually slower and sad sounding. My sixth song is Left Alone by Joyce Grill. Mrs. Grill was born on April 20th, 1936 in the United States. She graduated from the University of Wisconsin with a Bachelor of Music degree. She studied piano at the Fontainebleau School of Fine Arts in France. Mrs. Grill taught piano, music appreciation, and accompanying classes at the University of Wisconsin from 1974 to 1999. Left Alone is a study piece. A study is a music composition that is short but difficult and is used to practice a particular piano skill. That this song was written only for the left hand. My final song today is Musette in D major by Johann Sebastian Bach. Mr. Bach was born on March 31st, 1683 in Estrich, Germany. He is one of the most famous composers of the Baroque period. Mr. Bach was the youngest of 8 children. He was married twice and had 20 children. Mr. Bach wrote a lot of pieces for a lot of different churches. He became the court composer for Augustus III, the King of Poland, in 1736. The Baroque period was from the 1600s to 1750 and is important for using layered melodies, ornaments, and varied dynamics in sound. A musette is a popular dance in France and was used in the French operas and ballets, especially in shepherd and farm scenes. Before I play my encore, I would like to thank Mrs. Burns for teaching me how to play these pieces, my family for supporting me and coming to hear me play, and Miss Mason for being my examiner today. I hope you have enjoyed my performance. For my encore, I'll be playing Etude in C Major by Carl Czerny. Mr. Czerny was born on February 21st, 1791 in Vienna, Austria, and was a composer, teacher, and pianist in the late classical and early romantic period. He began playing the piano at the age of 3 and started composing at the age of 7. He became a student of Ludwig van Beethoven when he was 10 years old. By 1840, Mr. Czerny was totally devoted to composing music. He wrote a lot of piano solos to help young students to develop piano techniques for every level. The Romantic period was from the 1800s to the 1900s, and this music from this period was usually dramatic and lively. An etude is another name for a study, which I talked about earlier. The scale this song was written for is to practice playing arpeggios or broken chords.